what are you doing here? Like, why are you here?
Why are you here? Like, what? What is the goal?
What is the point?
There's no answer.
There's no answer. And I think that that's what we're meant to believe.
Wild horses, run faster, run faster. You don't know that one?
Mm-mm.
Oh, who's the
Whose song
singer?
is it?
Let me look it up really quick because
This is important. Hold, please.
This is important information. You will all need to know who sings this song. And once you know, you will be grateful because you can then yourself go and find it. In my library, Wild Horses, Bishop Briggs.
I don't know who that is. Is this a new? This is a new artist?
No. But you know what? I found her at the Life. We're just talking about festivals, remember?
Yeah.
I found her at the Life is Beautiful music festival that they do in Vegas.
Oh, I don't know that festival.
It's well, the first time I went, it felt like it was for me, like for like people my age.
Yeah.
The second time I went, I was like, oh, it's not.
Like it was for younger people?
Yeah. Also, we took Rue, which was like interesting situation.
How did she do?
Yes was there. Yeah was a headliner.
I love that.
She honestly, they said you couldn't. They said it was kid friendly, but then they said you couldn't bring strollers.
So which one is it, you guys? Make up your mind.
Exactly. So like the first night because I'm a rule follower, first night I didn't take a stroller and we were trying to like hold her and it was the yeah and I was so upset because it like she couldn't. Second night we took a stroller because we saw other people with strollers. They said, fuck it, we're just doing what we want to do. And I was like, oh. And it was Kendrick Lamar and we got to enjoy because she slept.
I love that. Kendrick is a Gemini, right?
He is.
Is he? Mm-hmm. Seems like it.
He's a Gemini.
He's a good Gemini. You know, there's good and there's not good.
Yeah.
There's Donald Trump.
There's Donald Trump and then there's Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
it's a spectrum.
There's Tupac Shakur.
He's a Gemini?
Mm-hmm. A lot of rappers are. Kanye. I want to say Biggie's a Gemini as well.
Yeah. Biggie feels Sagittarius, maybe just because his name is Biggie.
Yeah.
Like, it just feels like big energy.
Maybe he has Sag in his chart somewhere.
He's a Sag rising.
He's got to be.
Let us know. I can't help but think about, you know that movie 10 Things I Hate About You? Mm-hmm. When Julia Stiles gets up on the table finally she's just like, fuck it. She's at the party and she just gets drunk and then she, jams out to Hypnotize, I think.
I don't remember that movie
That's an
well.
iconic moment in movie.
Sorry.
Well, that was a buzzkill. We can do anything.
I don't know.
We can do anything.
What is this? What songs are these that you're singing?
I don't know. I actually don't even know. I'm channeling.
What are you channeling?
Some sort of Gemini. I don't know. I got a Gemini Mars. It's like very fast.
I mean, Mercury is retrograde still.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Phone is ringing.
Okay.
Did I get it?
Yes, please.
Hello? Oh, it's the universe. Hi. Uh-huh.
What'd they say?
Okay. Court, the universe called.
What did they say?
There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
Oh, that's so lovely. What is that?
Thank you.
Oh, that's so lovely.
That's from a Leonard Cohen song. There's a
know.
crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
I don't know that, but that is lovely.
Yeah. And it's significant right now because we're kind of using that teaching from Vashistasana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And kind of how I think that since we're in Sag season, it's such a season of expansion. And it's kind of looking at sometimes the things that might seem like they might be bringing us down are actually opportunities for growth or expansion because we are shifting. And I think the Gemini full moon is always going to be a little bit more outside of the box thinking. And again, I think just like such a compliment, obviously, to Sag that it's like, let's expand, let's grow, let's change. Let's try something new.
Yeah, absolutely. I also just want to say, I did say Mercury is retrograde. While we're recording, it is. But actually, today, when you're listening to this, or if you're not listening to it on the day, which is December 4th, it will not be anymore. It will be direct. But to go back to what you're speaking to, an image that came to mind was like when something is like expanding and it's almost growing bigger than the shell that it's in, or bigger than the container that it's in, the container almost has to crack. It has to break, burst for the growth to move out. And so I just have this image of like almost, have you ever seen this picture of like a human form, and it's like someone sitting in, Sukhasana, and it's like cracks all, and it's like light coming through. And I always think of it as like it's the spirit penetrating, it's the spirit breaking out. And in some ways I kind of think of it in that way of like, ideally, our spirit is so big, it's so massive that it's almost too big for our bodies.
Yeah.
And if we are able to really connect to spirit fully and wholly, it just becomes like this bigger thing. And that's when it's just like radiating.
Yeah, it just like grows and grows and grows. Makes me think about Jack and the Beanstalk. Like he planted those little seeds and it grew and grew. And I like picture it like growing out of the house and things busting open.
Or like Alice in Wonderland when...
We always talk about her. Like, yeah,
when she's in the house and it's like,
she grows out of that house.
Yeah.
Which like also in general in life, sometimes we do outgrow things. We outgrow... I think like the Alice in Wonderland image of her growing out of the house is like her growing out of her old ways. Like the old ways don't always work.
I think that's great. I think that's a great way to start to think about Sagittarius. Sagittarius being a mutable fire sign. Mutable being the sign that takes us into the next season. So it's the sign that kind of wraps everything up. But also there's because it's able to wrap things up, it's malleable.
Yeah.
Right? And it understands how to adapt.
Absolutely. And it being a fire sign, I think about what is mutable fire. It's burning things up to be clean. And it is the end of the year, at least in the calendar that we use. And so it's
the Gregorian
calendar, and it's burning up everything at the end of the year. It's burning it up so things are clean and clear and able to expand.
The Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion and gift giving. We've said this before: luck, good fortune. But this sign is a sign that has like a thirst for freedom and liberation.
It has to be. Like, it has to have it.
It's always like on this quest to have for more.
It's always on the quest for more.
For more knowledge, for more joy, for more freedom.
More travel, more fun.
Just more.
Yeah.
It wants more. And I want to say, I don't think it's necessarily in a negative way of like a gluttonous way, but in such a curious way.
It feels like a very playful sign to me, doesn't it? It feels like a fun, like childlike almost sense of play.
Yes. And the other side of the Sagittarius is that the Sagittarius is it is concerned with like idealism, religion, and philosophy. So there is, as much as it's like a playfulness to the Sagittarius, there's also like I don't want to say earnestness, but there is like a kind of a strict, I don't want to say strict.
It's a serious sense of play.
There's a seriousness to it.
Yeah, it's informed play.
Oh, that's great.
It's like we're playing, but I know why. And I want to keep like figuring it out as I go.
That is so good.
Yeah.
Informed play.
Informed play.
There is a purpose to the play.
Right. And I almost feel like the purpose is almost like low-key purpose. Like they're not going to like be like a Virgo who's like, this is play for this purpose. They're like, we know. It's almost like a little bit sly. It's like, I know why I'm doing this, and here's why.
Yeah.
That's us getting to know Sag, since we are in the season of Sag.
We are in the season of Sag.
And what else is going on,
well,
astrology-wise?
Venus and Mars are also in the sign of Sag.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think of Venus as when I wrote this, I said the lover and the fighter.
Yeah.
You know, like the lover and the fighter in the sign of faith and philosophy. You know, so we are almost diplomatic in the way that we create and destroy.
Wow. I mean, that almost goes back to that serious play, that play with a purpose, because it's coming from this place that's informed.
A Sag is also really direct and unapologetic in their way of being.
Absolutely. My Sagittarius friends will just be like, no, bro.
My Sagittarius friends are so, there's such a clarity and like their perspective. There's no confusion.
No, they're not. They're not confused.
They're not confused. They are not a confused sign.
I don't feel like they second guess themselves.
They don't waffle.
It's similar to Aries, but Aries is like such a baby. I feel like it's like the mature fire sign.
Yeah, because Sag, I feel like it's so wise with that Jupiter, because Jupiter is kind of like the old wise sage in a way.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And then today we are in a full moon in Gemini, which is its polar opposite. It's a mutable air sign. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so it's associated with communication and writing and technology, logic, all of that. And you have written down seeking clarity and wisdom while clearing away distractions. Tell us about that.
What I mean by that is this duality between Gemini and Sagittarius. Trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
While the Sagittarius is again seeking more clarity, more wisdom, more knowledge, right? The Gemini has a tendency to get fixated on the little pieces, right? It's not a negative thing. It's just something that the Gemini relates to. It's the nuances of information,
Like the details.
Yes, which can sometimes be a distraction from the bigger picture, where the Sagittarius is looking at the big picture, right? The Gemini is really invested in the details.
Yeah.
And so how can we find wisdom, or, you know, allow ourselves to be inspired by wisdom, whether it's internal or external? How can we find our way to some clarity while moving through the distractions? Because they might be there.
They often are. They often are.
And especially with this, you know, full moon in Gemini, I do believe that there's a great potential for them to be there.
Oh, yeah. A moon in Gemini. Talk about going all over the place.
Mentally and emotionally.
Mentally and emotionally. And as a reminder, a full moon is a time for us to release, to let go, to have gratitude, all of those things. So I'm like, what does that look like with a Gemini full moon with a sun in Sag? You tell us.
As I was thinking about this, I found myself drawn to the story of King Rama and Vashista. I'm not even sure how I got there, to be completely honest, Nat.
Well, Vashista is a sage. So I kind of think, when I think about Jupiter or Sagittarius, I think about studying, I think about wisdom, all of those things. So I kind of get that.
Yeah, maybe that's why. But I'm like, how did I even find myself here? Which I'm excited that I did, because I feel like it's a perfect teaching for this sun in Sag and moon in Gemini. So let's tell the story.
We like to share some of the mythology and philosophy behind our yoga postures. And I think it is such a great time to dive into the details of an asana, like the story behind the asana and the philosophy. It just feels very Sag and very Gemini at the same time.
The mythology.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the story of King Rama and Vashistasana. Is that how we say it?
Vashista, yeah.
Vashistasana. Gosh, I'm not saying it correctly. Sanskrit, please don't yell at me. I'm sorry.
Don't come get her.
Get me. I know, I do think that it's important to say it correctly. So we start out with Prince Rama's despair. So he has just returned from traveling, and he was in this story, he was playing an avatar as Vishnu. So he became disheartened by the suffering that he witnessed all around the world, because he sees all of this great suffering. And then Vashistasana intervenes, and basically the king had asked him to help lift his son's spirits, because this prince comes back from this travel and he's depressed, and the king is like, we can't be having that. So he calls in the sage and says, please fix this. And the sage, rather than him seeing this depression as a failure, as being like, oh, you're a prince, you're fucking up, you're messing this up, he's actually like, hey, this is actually a catalyst for a spiritual breakthrough. This is an opportunity for growth. So this is, again, that light, that expansion, that Jupiter. That's how we're relating it. And there's this long dialogue, and this is from the Yoga Vashistasana, between the two of them, between Sage and Prince Rama. And it actually becomes the philosophical text known as the Yoga Vashistasana. And in this text, the sage is guiding Rama towards liberation, teaching him about the self and the nature of reality. So through this dialogue, he's kind of guiding him along towards this expansion. The sage is guiding Rama towards liberation, teaching him about the self and the nature of reality. So through this process. And according to, we actually have this cited from the book, The Myths of the Asanas, Alana Cavalia. It's one must first see cracks in the ceiling before one can start to see the light shining through it.
I love that.
Yeah.
One must first see cracks in the ceiling before one can start to see the light shining through it.
It's like sometimes, and this is actually written down, that he was actually on the verge of a spiritual breakthrough. He just didn't know it yet, right? So sometimes we are in this depressed state, or really what I think is King Rama was just getting real.
Yeah.
Like he might have been living in this illusion, right, for a long time.
Yes.
Thinking that things are all maybe happy and easy, and then he sees the suffering of the world and realizes, oh shit, this is not the world that I thought it was. And how rather than that shutting us down, it actually can open us up.
Yes, absolutely.
Because suffering actually does open us up. When we see the suffering of other people, and not just, I feel like, especially when we're talking about Sag, it's not just in this emotional way, but it's in this actual logical way. We're like, oh, look at this suffering.
There's a sutra, I don't know the number, but it essentially translates to the purpose of suffering is to alleviate suffering. And what I take that to mean is that when we are suffering or when we are in discomfort, ideally there is an awareness that is unlocked. Oh, I'm not well. I'm not feeling my best. There's something that's amiss. And it's in that space where we can start to do the work, where we're doing our best work sometimes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because it's just we're in it. We're with ourselves. And we're being required to show up.
Yeah. There's nowhere to hide when you're going through it. And also when you see other people go through it, then it's like, oh, I've been through it before. And I know what that feels like, which feels like a big compassion piece to me.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And perhaps I wonder if this Prince Rama really hadn't been opened up to his compassion yet. So again, it's like there's an opportunity for him to grow, to gain depth. And in that, an opportunity to be a different person or a more expansive person. And we also can look at this as this idea of liberation.
Yeah.
Because that's the aim. If we're thinking about the aim of yoga, definitely it is liberation. The magic occurs, explains Vashistasana, when the individual soul merges with absolute freedom, so we can be, as the saying goes, in this world, but not of this world. So that's also from that same book and author.
Yeah. It's like, I am not my body, I am not my mind. I am really spirit, but I am spirit experiencing the world.
Right. We're all just spiritual beings having a human experience. I don't know who said that.
I don't either.
John Lennon?
Was it?
I don't know. My parents always said that to me. I feel like that's something John Lennon would say. Who I think is a Gemini, by the way.
John Lennon got that from somewhere, though.
Yeah. It sounds pretty wise.
But I imagine he did say it, though.
Yeah. And so the symbolism of Vashistasana, which is the pose that's related to this, is evident in the pose itself. Like this symbolism that you're in a careful balance on one hand, one leg, right? And a pose requires us to focus on what is important.
Yeah.
Not falling on your face.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, because so earlier in our notes, Vashistasana says something to Ram or Rama, sometimes called King Ram, that it is his clouded vision that would help him to find clarity. His lack of vision clouded his perception, right? This clouded vision will help him to find clarity. In the same way that we're speaking to, it is, the cracks in the ceiling that allow us to the light to shine through. Like it is the suffering that allows us to alleviate suffering, right? It is the being in the moment that could potentially open us up to that growth.
Right.
That we seek. And so as we're talking about the pose, once you get into that pose, which is a difficult shape to be in.
Totally.
Balance, core, so many things are happening. Stability of the shoulders, so much is happening here.
Yeah.
Clouded vision often arises at first, right? Maybe you have that doubt of like, oh, can I be here? Can I hold myself in this shape? Clear focus is required to truly maintain the posture. You have to move through the discomfort. You have to move through the fear. You have to move through the doubt. You have to move through the clouds in a way.
Yeah. You sort of have to face it and move through it.
You have to, yeah.
Because those thoughts are going to be there. Thoughts be thoughting. Thoughts be thoughting when you're in a pose and you're like, am I going to fall? Fuck, my shoulder. Is that okay? Am I okay? It's like, okay, thoughts, cloudy thoughts.
Yeah. I like that it says, with the body facing one direction, only part of the whole truth is seen. One must turn to complete the pose on the other side to view another perspective. This aspect of the pose reflects the challenge King Rama faced when he met Vashista. So right, we sometimes can only see one part of something, one piece of it. We have to turn around. We have to allow ourselves to be changed.
And almost like, to me, it feels like zooming out a little bit and seeing
out.
the whole picture.
Absolutely. Absolutely. While we're zooming out, though, we're using the physical posture to steady the mind. So that's where that Sag and that Gemini meet. Because what's literally happening in the pose is that if you get too focused on the details of what's happening physically, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, you're like, I'm out.
You have to put the pieces together and just see if you can be in the shape, right?
Yeah.
But there is specificity in what's happening with your mind.
Totally.
And that's the Gemini piece.
Absolutely, because things have to be in the correct place. The placement of where is my hand? Which way? I remember taking a class and my index fingers were turning in once and a teacher was like, turn them out, space them forward. Like every little detail actually does make a difference in Vashistasana, especially how it feels in my body. And at the same time, like you're saying, we kind of got to be able to also just be like, I'm just going to hold steady and expand those.
I also, when I'm thinking about tying it to Sagittarius sun and us being in Sagittarius season, Sagittarius is the centaur archer that carries a bow and arrow. And I think of Vashistasana in whatever iteration or whatever variation someone is exploring. It still it has that like that arrow type, expression.
Totally. You're directing some energy.
You're directing that energy. And I think that is so, appropriate for this season.
Yeah. It's a very yang pose, I would say. This is not a yin posture.
So I say the Gemini moon is the contemplation of what is going awry. Right, if we're following like King Rama's story, like the depression or the worry or the what is so wrong, and that could be the Gemini moon, right? Because we were talking about earlier of how Gemini moon, the inner workings of the mind can be. Talking about the Gemini moon, we were speaking earlier of how the inner workings of the mind can sometimes be hard to tame.
Yeah, they can be all over the place.
Yeah. Accepting that, right? Accepting that as being a part of just the energy that is moving right now, that we are sitting with right now. And the Sagittarius sun is the promise of spiritual breakthrough if we are willing to sit with these inner workings of the mind.
So it's like almost like holding steady and seeing what happens next.
The potential unrest that the Gemini moon can bring is the gateway, the cracks in the ceiling, so to speak.
Yeah.
Using the minute, right? The minute that the Gemini offers can lead us to our greater purpose. Using the Gemini moon as an opportunity to meditate on the bigger picture.
I almost visualize just this big full moon that's bright. It's a super moon, right? And it's expanding. It's got all sorts of things going on, and letting ourselves maybe even visualize ourselves as that human being, image with the cracks kind of busting out and letting it transform us.
Yeah.
Which feels so mutable.
Absolutely.
Mutable signs feel transformative to me. For sure. I do have a quote.
Yeah.
I have a quote from Iyengar, who, by the way, is a Sagittarius. Or I should say was. And he says, "It is through the alignment of the body that I discovered the alignment of my mind, self, and intelligence." Which feels very Vashistasana.
It does.
Because here's the thing. We practice all these yoga postures where we're focusing our mind, and we're talking about it in terms of asana, right? we're focusing our mind into these moments, which in turn somehow help us organize something inside of us.
Yeah.
Right? It's like we get organized by focusing our mind. Okay, where is my hand? Where am I placing my foot? Where is my chest? Where's my eyes? To bring us into a space where we can organize maybe something else that's a little bit deeper inside of us.
You sent me something today, a video of someone who was in Costco, a yoga teacher, and he was like, "Oh, I'm doing my yoga right now in Costco," because yoga is Sutra 1.2, which is harnessing, basically, it's stopping the cessations of the mind, or being able to harness the mind is what 1.2 is. And that's yoga. That is the definition of yoga. And what he was speaking to is that's why we do asana. So doing the physical practice is not doing yoga, but it serves a purpose, right? It is a tool that we use to ultimately get to 1.2.
To get into Costco and be like, can I stay calm in this Costco? That is crazy right now.
So I think of this quote as kind of speaking to that too, of ultimately, and especially thinking about like Sag and Gemini, of how Gemini can be so all over the place, and Sag is ultimately seeking greater like spiritual fulfillment. And it's like we use whatever practice it is, whether it's asana or meditation or pranayama or walks or therapy, but we're using whatever practice that works for us so that we can harness the mind and we can move towards spiritual fulfillment
And liberation. I love it. Well, thank you all so much for joining with us today, chatting about this full moon. And we have some journal prompts up on the Substack. So if you want to get on there, we also have a playlist that goes with it. Make sure that you follow us on YouTube, on anywhere you listen to your podcasts, and on Substack, IG. Follow us on every single thing.
Yes, and maybe leave like a review.
Listen, leave a review. It's Sagittarius season. Leave a review, bro.
Yeah, positive.
Leave us some sort of expansive review, because we're trying to expand.
We're trying to expand.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Happy full moon. The Universe Called podcast with Natalie Burtney and Courtney Sauls. Theme music by Chit Cray, Studio Inertia. Special thanks to Donna and Robbie Falks.